Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. We have some OP replays, but very sad, very sad OP replays. They did so much, but it's not to be. Two very different replays for you. We have the E50M and we have a tortoise. So Milky Way. Wrong Milky Way is in the E50M. As we always know, as I've said for many years, the E50M is probably one of the strongest tier 10 mediums in the game. Just because with the armor profile, the DPM, the gun, how heavy the tank is, it is definitely the strongest tier 10 medium tanks, and it's probably the toughest to to come up against. So yeah, it's not easy coming up against an E50M, especially when you have a player like Milky Way driving it. Now, he's going to have a freaking amazing battle. Now, this tank, as I've said, with the armor, it is very good when you're angling. If you hold down, it does have some weak points, but for a medium tank, it is basically heavy armor with medium speed and a medium gun. Of course, when you are showing your sides, that is when it becomes very weak. So it doesn't quite have the DPM as of that on the T62 or the Object 140 or the Leopard, but you know, it has the accuracy, and it has the speed, and it's basically it has the armor as well. So you have to lose something. If it had the DPM of a Leo or anything like that, then it would be absolutely insane. So enough talk about the tank. Let's talk about the battle. So he's looking around the map to see which side is best to go. Is it best to go left or is it best to go right? Now, he's heading towards the majority of his team, which is again the right choice. Not good for the other medium tanks. They decide to sit there and stay and get absolutely wrecked, but definitely the right choice for him and his team in helping these heavy tanks, because there's quite a few green tanks around here and not too many red tanks. And of course, he's going to get the Conqueror here. If you go hold down in this tank, as long as you wiggle your turret, you can actually get some bounces. So he's now pushing the KPF, which is isolated on his own. He's pushing there with his ST1, but of course the KPF does the right thing in dropping down, but he does get absolutely wrecked in doing so. So there are a couple of one-shot medium tanks, which is absolutely vital to get rid of, because they're the ones with the DPM, the speed, and that bounce there was frustrating. But he's going to get his revenge, and he's going to get another troll bounce, and these bounces could prove to be vital later on in the game, because he could have had a few other shots. I mean, if he would have got rid of that guy, that 121B with the first shot, he could have had other shots at other tanks to clear them. Now, that was a nice dive shot there into the KPF. So now it is just a 2 versus 5. So there's a lot of work to do. There is a couple of low hit point tanks, and he's still got a lot of hit points there, but they can go down very quickly, especially with the DPM tanks and the heavy tanks. His hit points can go down, and especially when it's 2 versus 5, that is a lot of work to do. So he's trying to focus on the 121B there. He does get a shot into him. Again, that was a nice shot, but not enough to clear him. And this is the guy that he could have cleared when he accidentally tracked him. Not his fault. That was it was just troll to get that track shot, and he's still being a nuisance. Not so much now because he's dead, but he still was a nuisance leading up to when he died, and he's still done damage. And again, the shots that he took on him to try and clear him could have actually been done on other tanks. But you can see how the armor profile is working. I love that he's ignoring the IS-7. He knows that the IS-7 cannot clear him, and he's full hit points. So of course, go for the tank that can actually clear you and that has the lesser HP, and then you can come for this tank. So he's already on 6k damage. There's still a full hit point tank can he be able to do it? It's a lot of work to do, especially when you're on as low hit points as he's on. But if he can get himself a couple of blocked shots, couple of maybe he can try and bait a few shots. But again, it's God knows what this IS-7 doing. I get what the IS-7 is doing, but he's just messing it up. the only choice that IS-7 really had to do there was go over where he went, because of course if the IS-7 just keep going around, the E50M is just going to keep going around. So his only option really was just to go over the hill. So most of you that are will probably look at that thinking, what an utter noob, why would he do that? And the same here, he's just going to give himself he's going to give the E50M some damage, but he has to do that. He has to do that, and because otherwise, again, if he's going around, the E50M is just going to keep going around. Now, he does take a nasty shot, which now brings him down to a one shot, but he is missing a few shots, very important shots that he's missing. He does get that last shot there to bring his damage now up to 7.4k, 1200 hit points to go. Can he go hold down? He's trying to reverse side scrape there. Is he going to be able to bait a few shots? Because he needs to. He has to. He's got no choice. There's only 1 minute left on the clock, and he has to bait a few shots, just like he did there. But he's not making it count. He's rushing his shots, but you would be, at this point in the game, when you're done, when you're on 7.4k damage, you would also panic, and you would also mess up a few of your shots. But he is messing up quite a few shots, and that is going to haunt him. That is really going to haunt him. So with 51 seconds left on the clock, he's got the IS-7 down to a 2-shot. Not a lot of work to do, but of course he's on the he's on the heat. He brings him down just to a 1-shot. So all the misses that he done actually come back and bit him on the bum. But nevertheless, a fantastic game. But I think he just panicked at the end, wasn't making his shots count, and ultimately he lost the game. But very well played. Over 8,000 damage is absolutely incredible, and no one wants to lose when you do that much damage. But well played, Milky. Absolutely well played. Next up, we're going to watch Cream Cheese on Blitz. Now, this is a tank you very rarely see do high damage battles in. I want to love the tank because it has a fantastic gun, but Wargaming for me they need to buff it. They need to buff either the hatch, or they need to buff the frontal armor and leave the hatch, because at the minute there is just so many weak points of the tank, and you just really can't do anything unless you really angle in the tank. You really can't perform well in this tank. But it has a lovely gun. It has a fantastic gun, but it's just so slow, and it doesn't have that armor profile for me. But it can still perform well when you play it right. So he's going for the Hesh now. Unfortunately misses his shot. Of course he is going to turn around, because a Centurion 7-1 behind you is not the greatest of tanks you want behind you, especially if it does have that Hesh gun. He'll be able to clear you very quickly. Now our guy here is actually making the armor profile work. Now he's dropped down, which I thought maybe could be a very risky move. He does have help, and the Centurion is now a 1-shot, and he does clear him. So these two guys focused on this guy. Not sure why the Centurion rushed in like he did. That could have been a bad mistake, but these two TDs now, because they both rushed the Centurion, they are currently out of the game at the minute. Both of them. The tank destroyer, the T-28, has lost all of his hit points in doing so, and that is ultimately could pay the price. Now, that was an unfortunate miss on the Lerva there, and he gets himself spotted shooting that tank. He does get that shot into that guy, so he's on 1200 damage at the moment, and he's actually blocked 790. Now, even though I said the armor profile sucks, you can still get the bounce. Of course you can still get the bounces when you're angling sort of at that kind of angle against tanks in that kind of position that these guys are in. It is actually very troll. But for me, I just wish the front plate was, or the front tank, at the front of the tank was much heavier armor wise than it currently is. Maybe leave the hatch as it is, so it is the weak point, or just buff the hatch and leave the rest, so at least you can go hold down, and you know, it can still perform really well. But 1000 block damage at the moment, and he is on 2000 damage himself. He really needs to clear these low hit point tanks. It's a 4 versus 6, so they've already got their work cut out. But not sure why none of these tanks push the hill. Look at them, all 3 heavies just sitting there together. They're like hitting each other over there. But he does manage to clear the Jagdtiger 8.8. So the only thing he could do at this moment is help his team, because look at them, all three of them are just sitting there absolutely doing nothing. So he just has to wait. I mean, look at that. This tortoise is angling, but it's just butter. You can go through it like butter. And now here comes the lurver. So as we know, the DPM on the tortoise is actually very, very nice. And just look at that, into the cheek. It shouldn't be like that. It needs armor, Wargaming. Give it some armor, for Christ's sake. So 1,200 block damage. Here comes the AMX 1390, and here is very risky. He misses that shot. Of course, he has to go for this guy now. It's a 2 versus 5. He can't turn around at this point. He needs to clear this guy. And as we know, the tortoise is not the quickest of tanks, so he's going to try and turn around. But at the moment, he's out of the game. The other guys are killing his heavy tank, and there is nothing he can do because of this annoying little guy who just gets himself stuck, and he pays the price, and he does clear him. And now he can turn back and look at these hit points. I mean, I'm sure his last tank was full hit points almost as he turned to go for the AMX. But now it's a 1 versus 4. 1 versus 4, but he's still getting that block damage. 1,500 block damage. He is on 5,000 damage himself, so he's already done a great job, and he does clear the lurver. Bad mistake there from the lurver, and that is not good. So 6k, not quite, I don't think, unless he's got some blind shots. But here's the E75 who just muffs his shot there. So he is going to use again the DPM of the tank to clear that guy, to now bring it down to a 1 versus 2. But he's now going to focus on the Moishin. Of course, because he's focusing on the Moishin, there is now going to be the other tortoise that is coming up behind him. But the DPM is one of the best in the game, actually. I think it's like 3rd or 4th best in the game. But if he just had armor, then this game could have been different. As I said that, he manages to bounce this this motion here, but with the tortoise behind, there really isn't nothing he can do. But nevertheless, he had a fantastic game, and to end the game on 8,100 damage, and again it was a loss, that is heartbreaking, especially to do that amount of damage in this tank. But well played, Cream Cheese. Thank you for sending me that in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have you had a loss like this? Let me know in the comments. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.